Hey ladies, welcome back. Today we're diving into one of the most electrifying and often misunderstood sides of intimacy, rough sex. Now, before your mind jumps to handcuffs or things you've seen in movies, I want to take a step back and really talk about what men secretly crave in the bedroom and why it has very little to do with being dirty and everything to do with being deliberate. Because here's the truth. There's a side of men that is rarely spoken about. The part that wants to feel not just desired, but devoured. The part that doesn't want just soft and slow all the time, but bold, dominant, unapologetic energy from you. Yes, you. The confident woman who can take control of the moment and make him lose all his control. And no, this isn't about turning into someone you're not. It's about unlocking a part of yourself that's already there. That fiery, fearless side that knows exactly how to stir up the kind of chaos that leaves him stunned, shaking, and starved for more. The woman who doesn't just give him pleasure, but owns the moment like it was hers from the beginning. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through 5 rough sex moves that men not only enjoy, but often fantasize about. And we're not just talking physical. These moves are part psychological, part primal, and 100% unforgettable when done right. They bring out something deeper in a man. That wild, unfiltered side of him that doesn't get touched in everyday life. And trust me, when you tap into that space with confidence, safety, and sensuality, you'll watch him unravel in ways he never even expected. So if you're ready to explore how to push his buttons in the best possible way and become the fantasy he never saw coming, stay with me. Let's talk about the 5 moves that drive him wild and how you can deliver them with power, precision, and your own feminine twist. Ready? Let's get into it. The sudden pin and whisper. There's something about unpredictability and intimacy that triggers raw desire in a man. And this move is all about creating that perfect balance of surprise and intensity. One of the rough sex moves men secretly crave is being suddenly pinned. Not in a way that hurts, but in a way that makes him feel completely caught off guard and deliciously out of control. You don't have to be physically dominant to do this. It could be as simple as pushing his chest back onto the bed, straddling, or even holding his wrist down gently but firmly. It's not about strength, it's about intent. It's about you showing that in this moment you are the one who's taking over. You are the one setting the rhythm, calling the shots, and letting him feel what it's like to be fully claimed by your desire. And here's where the magic happens. Once you've got him pinned, even for just a few seconds, lean in slow. Let the air thicken between your lips and his ear. Don't rush it. Hold the tension and then whisper something that melts right into his nervous system. Something teasing, something bold, maybe even something a little dirty, depending on the tone of your connection. The power isn't just in what you say, it's in how you say it. It's the warm breath on his skin, the slight rasp in your voice, the fire in your eyes that tells him, you're mine right now. I'm not here to ask for permission. I'm here to give you an experience. This is the kind of rough that doesn't leave marks on his body. It leaves a mark on his mind. It's psychological. It's primal. And it bypasses every rational defense he might have, letting him sink into the sensation of being deeply wanted, deeply taken. A man craves this kind of raw honesty in bed, even if he doesn't know how to say it out loud. He doesn't just want to feel like he's performing, he wants to feel like he's surrendering, like you're the one who's orchestrating this beautiful chaos and he's just along for the ride. And here's what most people miss. When a man feels safe enough to be taken like this, when he senses that you're still tuned in to his energy, still grounded, still present, that's when he opens up more emotionally. Yes, even in the middle of rough sex. Because rough doesn't mean disconnected. It means deliberate, controlled, passionate, thoughtful. It's wildness with trust, intensity with empathy. So the next time you want to rock his world, don't wait for him to make the first move. Take control. pin him, own him, and whisper the kind of truth that sends chills down his spine. That moment of surprise, followed by intention, followed by your voice in his ear. That's not just hot. That's unforgettable. The hair grab and slow drag. There's something incredibly primal about hair. Not just in the way it feels, but in the way it communicates control, craving, and closeness. One of the most underestimated yet deeply powerful rough sex moves men secretly fantasize about is the moment you grab his hair, firmly, purposefully, and use it as a way to guide the moment. Most women are used to being the ones whose hair gets pulled. But when you flip the script, when you take a fistful of his hair or even gently tug at the roots while you're kissing him or riding him, you create an energy he doesn't experience often. It's not about pain. It's about sensation. It's about sending a message that says, I want you so badly, I have to hold on to something. That kind of passion is intoxicating to a man. It turns the moment into something cinematic. He's no longer just in the moment, he's watching it unfold in his mind, playing it back even while it's happening, knowing this is going to live in his fantasies forever. Now, you don't have to yank or get overly aggressive. The key is in the drag. After you've grabbed his hair, whether it's during a kiss or while he's beneath you, use that hold to pull his head back slightly, just enough to expose his neck, or draw his eyes to yours. Lock that gaze, and then do nothing for a second. That's the secret sauce, the pause, the stillness. Because when you hold him there just for a heartbeat, you create suspense. You become the director of tension, and he's completely caught in your frame. Follow that with something slow, your tongue down his neck, your lips grazing his collarbone, your nails dragging down his chest. Contrast is everything here. The roughness of the grip paired with the softness of your touch is like a mental short circuit for him. It sends mixed signals in the best way, making him hyper aware of every part of his body. You've just made him feel vulnerable and desired in the same breath. That combination, it's rare, and it drives him mad. This isn't just about physical stimulation, it's about igniting the parts of his masculinity that love to be tested, to be challenged, to be handled. When you grab his hair, you're not just touching him, you're showing him your confidence. You're saying, I know exactly what I'm doing. And I know exactly how to make you feel things you didn't expect. And men don't forget that kind of moment. It burns into their memory. It makes them want to come back for more, not just for the sex, but for how you made them feel during it. Wanted, overpowered, desired in a way that was wild but grounded. So next time, don't just run your hands through his hair. Take hold. Show him that your desire doesn't whisper, it commands. And trust me, he'll be replaying that moment long after the night ends. The hip grab and deep grind. There's a moment in intimacy when bodies don't just connect, they communicate. And one of the most potent, secretly craved moves a man fantasizes about is when you take control of the rhythm. I'm talking about that deep, slow, intentional grind led by your hips, and amplified by the way you grab his waist or dig your fingers into his hips to anchor the moment. This isn't about speed. It's not about racing to the finish line. It's about depth, pressure, control. Because when you grab a man's hips and use them to keep him in place while you move your body against his with deliberate sensual force, you're telling him something incredibly powerful without a single word. I own this rhythm. I'm choosing how you feel me. That subtle but strong grip, your hands wrap around his waist, pulling him toward you, holding him still while your body takes the lead, is like psychological gasoline poured on physical fire. It throws him off in the best way because he's not used to being the one held down. He's not used to being the one held in place. But oh, does he want it? He wants to feel you crave him like that, to feel your hips move like you're chasing your own pleasure first. Like, you know exactly how to use his body to satisfy your desire. And let's not underestimate what the grind does. There's something about that pressure, that tension, that full-bodied slide that doesn't just stimulate physically, it consumes him mentally, because now you're not just with him, you're on him, all of you, with purpose, with weight, with that subtle dominance that says, you're mine right now, and I'm going to take my time with you. The key here is confidence, not in being performative, but in being tuned into your own pleasure. When a man sees that you're not grinding for him, but for you, when he feels the way your body moves, like it knows exactly what it wants, it's an instant psychological trigger. He doesn't feel like he's watching a performance. He feels like he's inside a moment that's real, raw, and utterly unforgettable. This move is rough in the best way, not because it hurts, but because it leaves him breathless. It challenges the dynamic, it flips the script, and it shows him that you're not afraid to make him feel just as exposed, just as wanted, just as locked in as you often feel. So next time you're in that moment, don't be afraid to grab his hips. Don't hesitate to slow down and grind with deep, heavy rhythm. Let him feel all of you. Let him know you're not just there to please, you're there to lead. And trust me, that single move will have him craving you for days, maybe even weeks, because now, every time he thinks about you, all he'll remember is how you made him feel completely taken. The sudden straddle and eye lock, there's something utterly electric about unpredictability. Not chaos, but the kind of moment that catches him off guard in the best way. That's what happens when you climb on top of him. Not slowly, not asking for permission, but with bold, confident intention. A sudden straddle where you take your position like you own it, followed by a direct, unwavering eye lock that says, you're not going anywhere. This isn't about dominance for dominance's sake. It's about showing him through your actions that you know your power. When you straddle a guy with no hesitation, especially in a moment when he's not expecting it, you disrupt the rhythm in a way that commands his attention. His breath catches, his heart rate jumps, and you can almost see the shift in his eyes, the look that says, she just flipped the switch. Now add the eye contact, not playful, not bashful, but deep, steady, and drenched in desire. You look at him like you're studying every inch of his reaction, like you're fully present in that moment. And that does more than arouse him. It disarms him. Because eye contact during sex, or even just before it, isn't about the visual. It's about the emotional tension, the psychological intimacy. When you hold his gaze, you're not just touching his body, you're accessing his mind. And let's be real, most guys are used to sex being about movement, friction, escalation. But when you suddenly sit on him, lean forward and just pause, when you don't immediately move, but instead give him the weight of your body and the full force of your stare, you create a kind of anticipation that's almost unbearable. It's like a loaded pause in a sentence, the part where everything hangs in the air. He's waiting to see what you'll do. He's already lost in the tension. And that's exactly where you want him, because it's in that space where the physical and the emotional collide that real craving is born. It's not just about feeling your body, it's about feeling seen by you, desired by you, devoured by your presence before you even move. You become the fantasy, not because you did something wild, but because you knew how to own the moment with boldness and intentionality. Men don't talk about it much, but they crave that loss of control, that shift in power when a woman takes over, not to perform, but to claim. And a sudden straddle paired with intense eye contact does exactly that. It turns a sexual moment into a mental imprint, one he won't forget the next day, one that keeps replaying when he's alone, wondering how you made him feel so exposed and wanted at the same time. So next time you want to drive him wild, don't wait for him to lead. Take your position. Own his gaze. and show him what it looks like when you decide to be unforgettable. The pullback and denial, here's a secret every woman should know. Sometimes not giving him what he wants is the very thing that makes him want it even more. And this final move is all about understanding the erotic power of denial. Not rejection, not withholding, but strategic pause. And the art of making him crave you so much, he practically begs for what comes next. The move, it's simple but diabolically effective. You get him close, physically, emotionally, sexually. You build tension, you touch him, tease him, kiss him, say things that light his senses on fire, and then, just when he thinks he's about to have all of you, you pull back, you stop, you slow down, you look at him with that spark in your eye and say something like, "Not yet." In that moment, you've created something priceless, a gap between desire and fulfillment, and that space, that's where the fantasy lives. That's where he starts obsessing, where his imagination runs wild, where he feels the depth of his attraction for you. Because, let's be honest, men are used to escalation. They're trained by the rhythm of porn, culture, past experiences to expect a linear path, arousal, contact, climax. But you're not just anyone. You're not an autopilot. You know how to break the pattern and rewrite the rules. When you give him intensity and then suddenly pause, you shock his system. You make him feel not just aroused, but hooked. And it's not about teasing in a cold or punishing way. It's about playing with the dial, turning it up, then down, so that when you finally let go, it feels like he's been set free from the sweetest torment. You're not just making love, you're conducting a symphony of sensation. And every time you pause, every time you deny him just a little longer, the pleasure when it finally arrives is tenfold. What men secretly crave is a woman who's in control of her desire. Not one who gives everything immediately, but one who shows him just enough to leave him wanting more. It makes him work for it, yes, but not out of obligation, out of obsession. Because once he's felt what it's like to be on the edge with you, nothing else compares. The real secret here is that denial is just another way of saying, you're not just anyone, I don't give this to everyone, I choose when and how we go further. And that level of intentionality, that's intoxicating. That's irresistible. That's what turns a hookup into a memory that echoes in his body days, weeks, even years later. So the next time you're with him, don't be afraid to pull back. Hold his face, look him in the eye, and let him feel the ache of wanting you just a little longer. That moment of denial will make the surrender even sweeter, and you'll be the one he can't stop thinking about long after the lights go out. So here's the truth, my love. Sex isn't just about what you do, it's about the energy you bring into the room. These 5 rough moves aren't about being someone you're not. They're about unlocking the parts of you that are already powerful, passionate, playful, and giving yourself permission to show up in bed with full confidence. Because when you bring that kind of fearless energy, when you know how to take control, when to push, when to pause, you tap into something primal in him. You don't just become a lover, you become an experience, a memory. You've triggered his obsession. If you loved this video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe for more unapologetically real relationship advice, and drop a comment telling me which move surprised you the most, or the one you're dying to try. I want to hear your thoughts, your stories, your fire. And remember, confidence isn't about knowing everything. It's about knowing your worth, even in the most intimate moments. So go be bold, go be unforgettable, and let him be the one left breathless, wondering how he ever lived without you. I'll see you in the next one. Stay magnetic. Craving. Men don't crave perfection. They crave depth, surprise, the kind of intimacy that hits their body and their mind. So don't be afraid to be bold, to take risks, to speak in a low whisper that drives him wild, to hold his gaze until he can't take it, to push him back with a smirk that says, "You're mine tonight." And if you're thinking, can I really do this? The answer is you already have it in you. You don't need to be louder. You don't need to be someone else. You just need to stop holding back the parts of you that already know how to connect on a deep sensual level. So try one of these moves the next time you're with him. Just one.